Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk to you about my favorite summertime cover crop, and that is buckwheat. It's getting close to midsummer for some of us, especially here in the South. You know, right now we've picked all our corn. Our corn's done. Hey, some of y'all, some of your summer crops may be finished. You may be finished getting squash, or squash borers may have gotten your squash and you don't have anything there and you got some bare soil. You need to look at planting buckwheat. Buckwheat is an awesome cover crop. The thing about buckwheat is it's super fast and it's easy to chop down or kill, and it attracts bees. Honeybees love buckwheat, butterflies too, so a lot of your pollinators love buckwheat. It has this tiny small white flower on it. It grows super fast. One of the most beneficial things about buckwheat is when you kind of think of a cover crop, you usually think about like a nitrogen booster. But buckwheat is kind of different. Buckwheat attracts phosphorus and calcium. So when you plant your fall garden or your fall crops, they can benefit from that. Then, not only that, when you chop the buckwheat down, it's going to fall down and compost, and then that's going to be a nitrogen booster. And if you really wanted to, depending on how big of an area you got, you can let your buckwheat go to seed, harvest the buckwheat, and use it as a grain, bread, cereals, that kind of thing. That's what makes buckwheat so unique. And like I said, it's a summertime cover crop. A lot of people don't think about summertime cover crops, but buckwheat is a summertime cover crop. It doesn't do well in the cold. So, you know, if you've pulled up something in your garden or anything or something like that, and it doesn't have to be, you can do it in a raised bed garden or wherever you got a bare spot right now in your summertime garden, throw some buckwheat out. And I typically will buy a 50-pound bag, and it'll last me 2 or 3 years. All right, here's the buckwheat. I just buy it in a 50-pound bag because I love this stuff. And all I do is I just put it in a bucket and just throw it out. Now you could do it in rows if you wanted to and plant it nice and neat. And I could plant pumpkins now. I could plant the Seminole pumpkin, is the pumpkin we always plant here, but it is super duper wet still here, extremely wet. Plus, we still have a lot of Seminole pumpkins from last year. We had a great crop last year. So we have 12-ish still in storage, and we have a lot that we bagged, and we have them in the freezer. So I'm thinking about maybe this year is that I may not plant pumpkins this year. This year, I'm just gonna throw my buckwheat out, let it get big and do whatever it wants to do. I'm gonna come back and chop it down and let it compost. And I'm gonna plant my big garden in greens, kales, mustards, and let that be a cover crop for the fall, and I can eat it too. Cover crops are so awesome and so beneficial, and a lot of people just probably don't think about them. And you can do a cover crop anywhere. I don't think people think about summertime cover crops either. I think they probably think about your winter rye, your fall cover crops, clover, radishes, that kind of thing. They don't think about summertime and doing cover crops in the summer. But buckwheat is an excellent cover crop. So if you have a bare spot out there, definitely want to get you some buckwheat. And you don't have to buy a 50-pound bag. If you have a small place, just buy you a small bag. You can find it anywhere. I'll look and see if I can find some links to some buckwheat. And if I do, I'll put them down below for you. Speaking of gardens, how are y'all's gardens doing? My garden is a hodgepodge of really doing good and a total mess. Our tomatoes are... All this rain is absolutely just devastated our tomatoes. They do not like this at all. My area I got where my raised bed garden is, we're in a wet area anyways. That's why I built a raised bed garden, to get my vegetables off that wet ground and get them up. But with all this rain we have, it's not doing any good. Let me show you. But it has been a trade-off. It really has been a trade-off. Our tomatoes look not good. I mean, I'm getting this, you can see, a lot of yellow, not much fruit. They're struggling. I've lost two, fixing to lose a third one. It's just too much water. My blackberries that were thriving over here, they're not doing well either. But at least blackberry season's almost over. I did also want to give y'all an update on the Japanese ring. People have asked about the Japanese ring, the method of growing tomatoes around a compost pile. Well, I can't really give you an honest review because one of those tomatoes died and this one isn't doing squat. But this bed is soaking wet. I checked it yesterday and it's just saturated. Just saturated. I'll have to do that again next year. That's just not going to give me an accurate gauge if that Japanese ring really works. Also, the weeds are just crazy right now because of all the rain. You can see this right here, 4 days ago was hardly anything in here, and look at this. Just boom, boom, boom. Just way too much rain. But I'm guessing the trade-off is our cucumbers are going nuts. We are making pickles about every third day, at least every third day. And I just picked cucumbers 2 days ago, and let me show you. They're ready to be picked again. If y'all missed my video of what we planted this year, I like the Arkansas little leaf cucumbers for pickles. Just love them. They don't get real big, they don't get real long, and they're just prolific here. I always have a good crop with them, but this has been my best crop ever. And this sucker here, sorry, I just ate a blackberry. This sucker here, this is that little melon cucumber, the Mexican gherkin. Is that how you say it? I don't know how to say it, but I call it the melon cucumber. This is wine. Look at these. These things are delicious and great in salads or a snack. I come over here, grab a handful of them. Me and my daughter both. And while we're outside messing around, we're eating cucumbers. If you've never grown these before, I definitely give these a shot. And you can see how crazy this thing went. It went nuts. And the other trade-off for all the rain was our corn. Holy cow. Best corn crop ever here. I mean, it was an awesome corn crop. Now, I will say this. There is one tomato that is thriving right now, but I think I'm pretty safe to say that cherry tomatoes will grow in concrete. I never, ever have an issue with cherry tomatoes. This thing's going completely nuts. Crazy. It's going everywhere. The only downside is all this rain, they'll start splitting on me. But that stuff's like poison ivy around here. That darn cherry tomato just keeps on going. I do gotta pull our garlic up. It's definitely ready to go, along with all the weeds in that bed. Oh, weeds. Weeds love rain too. I tell you what else is really looking good is my muscadines. Man, they look great. I'm hoping, last year wasn't that good, but this year I got muscadines everywhere this year. I mean, this thing is loaded. And I got this planted on my raised bed fence. Let me go show you the new garden I just planted. This was our area that was on the on this neighborhood side, and this is the new garden we just planted, and I planted it with pink eye purple hulls. Check this out. But the purple hulls are doing well over here. I am getting a good bit of wash because I'm on a hill, but for the most part, it's holding up really, really well. The only thing negative about this area is I had to go back and look and see which one it was, but I planted a bush style snap bean over here. It ain't done squat. I think 2 of them came up. I planted 2 rows of them. And I went back and planted purple hulls in the spots where the bushes didn't come up. Don't know why, but they just didn't do well. And the 2 that did come up, they don't look that great either. But I definitely will plant buckwheat in there as soon as I pick those. Y'all hear them hawks? Do y'all plant any type of summertime cover crop? That's what I'm curious to know. If you do plant anything, leave the comment down below. And how's y'all's gardens doing? I mean, mine has been, besides my tomatoes, for the most part, everything's been doing pretty good. Everything's been doing pretty good. A lot of our okra didn't come up, but we still got okra. But our cucumbers are doing great. I tell you what didn't work, the red Malabar spinach didn't come up. I think it got too wet. My climbing squash, it struggled to come up, and I think it was all the rain. So it's starting to do okay now, but hadn't produced anything, but I see vines coming up and starting to climb. So I should have some squash, hopefully. Corn was awesome. Cucumbers are awesome. I have a pepper plant, it's doing great. We had a great year for blackberries. And then our purple hulls look good, so yeah. Let me know how y'all's gardens are doing in the comments below. And as always, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Guys, y'all be good. Go plant you some buckwheat.